So here's what we gonna do. In 96, in in the 90s, when I still have my felony jacket. There was a phone company that took me, and I had to stand up there after many companies said, nah, I don't want nothing to do with you. They had a federal incentive that they would get $75,000 every year that I stayed on the books and I didn't get in trouble. And I said, thank you, God. You understand? And I proved them wrong. Now, 28 years later, I'm still there, 2 years from retirement. But watch this. Most that come out don't get the chance that I do. I'm an outlier. Most companies don't want nothing to do with you when they see that felony jacket on you. So what? As a president, I got to think proactively. It's not checkers, it's chess. I have to be able to put enough programs so these people could be successful outside rather than in. But watch this. They have no incentive because big businesses, jails and prisons, they make a lot more money having you in than out.
So isn't it safe to say that you've been in there 20 years reading all these fucking books and studying and beating your meat? You had enough time
First
to get out
beat me
and become a fucking outlaw, or you was fucking some ass, whatever way you want to spin it. I just gave you. I don't know. It's a lot of ass in there, brother. You can tell me.
What?
I just said I didn't want to attack your character, so I said beating your meat. I would rather somebody say I was beating my meat. Yeah, hell yeah, I was beating my meat. I wasn't doing the other thing. So you was in there for 20 years.
Call a Fifi bag.
Choking your chicken. You had enough time to become an outlier when you got out. I would argue that everybody who's been in there for that amount of time should be sharp. Like, look, I know exactly what the fuck I'm going to do. I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to do X, Y, Z. I'm going to hit the ground running. You can't put that on the person who released you, bro. Because it sounds like you're arguing that it's better for them not to release them, period, unless they got a program that
shows
them in some magical wash machine and they become law-abiding citizens again and flourish in the community.
Dolan, I could tell you this confidently with all my heart. You don't know what the fuck you talking about. You don't know your ass from your elbows. You know what institutionalism is?
I know what it is.
Okay, so now for those brothers in there that have to reacclimate to culture, they need help. Because if you lock somebody in a cage for 20 years, they become accustomed to that life. So now once you're letting them out in masses, like you're supposed to be doing the good faith, you're supposed to be able to give them the therapy and the recidivism. So they don't.
They got therapeutic communities.
You're supposed to provide them step for step how to get back into society, shed the institutionalism, spoonfuls, and let them become productive members of society. But here's the bigger game that
the therapeutic community.
They knew they was gonna go back in masses. Okay, so they knew they was gonna go back, Darwin.
No, they did not.
If you do not provide these things, the majority of them will go back.
I'm telling you,
they have no soft skills, they have no hard skills. Some of them do, but the majority of them was like, ain't nothing for me out here.
Well, why haven't you started a program?
They ain't self-deleting themselves. They going back to what they know.
Look, I'm apologize on your behalf to the people that's incarcerated right now that's doing a bid. And they somehow was able to smuggle a fucking iPhone 15 through their ass crack and able to watch Lapeef right now. They probably want to punch the shit out of you right now for saying, hey, look, if I'm in there for 15 years and I'm listening to you, I'm like, man, fuck what Kenny said. I want to get out. If anybody on this panel, anybody in the chat, put a one in the chat. If you in there for 10, 15 years, regardless of a program that's going to rehabilitate you on the outside or put you back in a position to where you can flourish in the community, you want out.
Who said?
I want out. I don't want to be in there.
I don't want them
about no program. I'm going to get it on my own when I get out.
20 years watch this, 20 years when we had beepers back then in the 90s, Shan. And now you come up to smartphones where you touch and they can do their own thing. That's a culture shock.
Yeah, Darwin.
Wait.
I got family,
20 years ago, when you had a deuce and a quarter, now you got a Tesla that could drive itself. What?
What?
Yeah,
You
no.
worried about material
he's trying to
things.
make,
I'm worried about
Darwin,
my kids, my family, bro. Like, look at the shit you talking about, Kenny.
Darwin. So the thing is with you, the reason why you seeing it that way is the reason why you aren't in jail. Is the reason why you are successful the way you are. But what Kenny's trying to explain to you, especially when it comes to institutionalized men, is they do go back. I mean, statistically, they go back. But the problem is, you think that 15 years in, they can't wait to get home. A lot of them, 15 years in, they actually dread coming home. A lot of them do. A lot of them are thinking like, and I'm telling you this because I have a family member who did 20 years in prison. And when it was time for him to come home, he came home. He was home for a month. Then he went and robbed a liquor store. And then he went and my uncle, he sat on the curb and waited for the police to come. And when the police came, he just quietly went back to prison again. He couldn't wait to go back. In addition to that, I have another family member who's who gangbangs, who all the opportunity in the world when he came home, all the jobs that whatever he want, he couldn't. He did what he needed to do. We think just to go back to prison. So while in your mind you're thinking, man, I can't wait to get home because I'm gonna get my shit together and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna make it happen. There is a certain element of men that do that, but there's another huge element of men that don't want nothing to do with YouTube, don't want nothing to do with iPhones, don't want nothing to do with a Tesla. I'm just throwing up the keywords that I've heard tonight. Don't want anything to do with modern technology and society, because when in their heyday, they had none of that and they didn't really experience any of it in prison, and prison is safe for them. So
what about the ones that's thinking, okay, let's just take that off of the plate then. I can see it. I agree with that on Kenny. Apologize if I offended you, Kenny. I agree on that point. Thank you for clearing that up for me, Shannon. What about the men that's in there that then had beepers and whatever, and they like, fuck a beeper. I just want to see my mama. I want to see my father. I want to see my sister. I want to see my little nieces and nephews that I didn't get to see growing up. I would think that those people appreciate that more than worry about how to be able to use AI to get a 9 to 5 or some shit like that. Like, these people have been locked up in fucking cages, bro. They're not worried about no program. I get what you're saying, that there should be a program, but I don't think that there's a law saying that whoever releases them or whoever is the authority they need to during their probation period or whatever, they need to incorporate some type of process to make sure these guys, man, you got motherfucking what they call it, Job Corps, you got unemployment office. Shit, why you locked up? Like I said, you got therapeutic community, man. What? Come on, man. There's so many things you can do. You can learn how to do a trade while you're in it. You can learn the computer language, C#, Java, HTML, object-oriented programming in there. You can learn all of that stuff from the books and come out and be a engineer. Because what Kenny sounds like is it almost reminds me of whenever they came out with the abolishment of slavery and start releasing slaves off of the plantation in droves and shit. And I think some slaves is like, fuck it, I'd just rather go back to this plantation because at least I got something to eat and food to stay, because people are passing away out here trying to get it on their own. I get it. But we don't live in those times no more. You can go goddamn you can go cut some grass. You can go do the work that you didn't want to do. You can do what you can become an outlier. I'm saying it's a possibility. You have the opportunity when you get out of jail. And I think that's enough
hold on, Mark,
to give you the motivation to want to get out and goddamn figure it out.